Yes, everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Stephen Howson. This is 5 things that we learned watching Manchester United blow the piss out of us against Bournemouth, where we lost 1-0. Right then, first things first. What did we learn? Number 1, we can't beat teams that sit in a low block. We've seen Manchester United put in decent performances against Liverpool, against Chelsea, against Arsenal. Debatable against Leicester, I guess, but we did get a result there. Then we've seen draws and defeats to Southampton, Rochdale, Palace, Newcastle. When a team wants to play football against us, which is, to be honest, what I expected Bournemouth was going to do this weekend, in all honesty, they're spacing behind them, and that's when we can utilise our pretty much only asset, which is blistering pace. Getting behind them, create some sort of chances. And even the chances that we create in those bigger games are few and far between. We're certainly not having what City had the other week, which was 20 shots from inside the box and about 8 from outside the box. We're not having anything like enough chances from inside the box. And people go, oh, you're going about expected goals too much. Okay, forget the expected goals. Look at the number of shots Manchester United take from inside the box. Whether you agree or believe in expected goals or anything along those lines, here's a fact for you. Scoring a goal from inside the box is easier than scoring a goal from outside the box. That's an indisputable fact. Manchester United don't take anywhere like enough shots from inside the box. And when a team sits back against us, we do not have anywhere near enough shots inside the box. And for that reason, Manchester United don't score anywhere near enough goals, and that's why we can't beat teams that sit back against us. Number 2, and kind of linked to it, that we still can't create. There is no killer pass from midfield. There's nowhere near enough good movement. There isn't anything being created in the wide areas. Pogba's our best creator, and he isn't playing, and he might leave. So that leaves it down to Fred and McTominay and Pereira, and let's be honest, they're not creating a damn thing either. Wan-Bissaka's coming at fullback, absolutely shored it up in terms of a defensive thing, but going forward, we're still lacking. Brandon Williams has come in and done all right as a fullback on the left-hand side, probably should be looking at taking over Ashley Young, certainly will do this weekend in the Premier League when he's banned, but there's still not enough chance creation, and it shouldn't be relied upon for our fullbacks. Fullbacks in certain teams create a lot of the chances because their midfield's not doing the work, but we don't have that type of fullback. We are a team that's supposed to be playing it through our midfield. That is why we play a number 10, but we do not create enough chances. We don't have a systematic Manchester United goal. I can tell you to close your eyes. City scored a goal at the weekend. Talk me through it. Oh, by any chance was it pass around the midfield, and then a killer ball out to one of the wide areas into the channel. Someone ran towards the byline at an angle, and then they passed it back towards the penalty spot. Is that what happened? Did it happen on the left side? Did it happen on the right side? That is a Manchester City goal. Liverpool, I'll tell you what happened. They passed it around the back four for 3/4 of an hour, and then Van Dijk pinged one into a channel. They lost possession. They quickly won it back by the speed of the midfield and the gegenpress. They then passed it into the box. It got knocked out. They whipped it back into the box at the back stick, and someone put it away. Is that what happened? Because that's how Liverpool score goals. How do Manchester United score goals? Fucking penalties. Free kicks. Sometimes. Number 3, Andreas Pereira is a problem. Since moving centrally, Andreas Pereira has looked quite a capable player, and he's kind of got this nanny kind of attribute about him where you go, he's got a good dribble, looks a little bit quick actually sometimes, he's got an excellent delivery of a cross. His shots, yeah, they're not very accurate, but you know, like one of these is going to fly in, it's going to be an absolute screamer, we've seen that before from him. But he's wasteful in possession. His decision making is that of a fucking child. So many times he's in the right area, very often there's players to his left, 2 or 3 of them in space, and he's like, cool story, nerd. I'm going to go fucking put this top corner. Oh no, top tier. Close enough. Andreas Pereira is the sole creator in this team. When you are a number 10 in a football team and you're playing with 2 number 6s, their job is to provide a platform and a screen to move forward from. The number 10's job is literally to create chances. Here's Andreas Pereira's map from this weekend. This is an absolute disgrace. In this entire game, 60% pass completion, 1 chance created in 68 minutes. Jesse Lingard came on and replaced him, and Jesse Lingard has looked shit this season, I'm not afraid to say. Jesse Lingard created 2 chances in 22 minutes, and his movement allowed others to create chances as well. Andreas Pereira has had 19 fucking shots this season. 14 of those being from outside the box. Do you know how many have gone in? Fucking none of them! He's taken an average of 2.4 shots per 90 minutes that he's on the pitch. That is very, very close to how many shots Tony Marshall and Marcus Rashford are having. But guess what? They've scored goals, mate. If we're going to persist with playing Andreas Pereira in this position. Now, I will say, a bit like Jesse Lingard, he has been good off the ball. But there has to be an element of being better on the ball. Jesse gets maligned for the lack of goals and lack of assists, but Jesse's movement does create chances for other people, and he does create chances for other people, tangibly, provably. But Andreas Pereira is not, and Andreas Pereira has had so much opportunity. He has played 10 games now this season. That isn't someone that's been used as a bit part, still kind of getting used to everything. He's been out on loan. 10 games is enough to know what you're getting. And against these smaller teams, the job of creation has to fall on your shoulders. And I'm sorry, mate, you're not up to the task. Number 4, individual mistakes killing us. Now, yes, if you go back and analyse football enough, it's always an individual mistake that leads to a goal. It's rarely an absolute path of brilliance. I tell you what, one of the best bit of analysis that I've seen in a long time was Rio Ferdinand analysing the Manchester United-Barcelona 2011 final for BT this weekend. Now, he highlights Patrice Evra being out of position for a couple of the goals, and how Barcelona completely capitalised on that. Would you then dig out Patrice Evra and go, fucking hell, that was shit? I mean, Vidic did, but you probably wouldn't. You'd say that was one player that made a little bit of a mistake in a team that was making a lot of mistakes over the course of a game and just got simply outplayed. But when you look at what Manchester United have been losing to and conceding to, it's preventable. We're not talking prime, possibly the best ever club side in Barcelona, and you're trying to figure out whether you should stay tight or give space to Lionel Messi. We're talking about fucking Brighton. We are talking about Bournemouth. We are talking about fucking Newcastle. We are talking about Crystal motherfucking Palace. We are not talking teams that are even any fucking good. But most of them are above us in the table. Individual mistakes. Lindelof, Tuanzebe at left back against Arsenal, possibly forgivable. Young losing possession and giving free kicks away in stupid fucking positions for supposedly the most experienced player on the pitch. It just isn't good enough. Rojo potentially out of position for Liverpool, or Young, one of them. Someone didn't stop the cross from the other side. These are stupid, preventable mistakes against teams that you should be better than, but you're not. United have to keep a clean sheet and hope that we get a fucking penalty, or we're not going to win a game. Ollie was fantastic tactically in the middle of the week against Chelsea. But you have to follow that up with being able to put a run together and build some confidence into this team. Which leads me on to my next point. The fan base is fickle. A few good wins put together, and they were good wins in different competitions, and the club is starting to grow into confidence. But it's fragile. It's a little seedling. And one loss, absolutely people losing their minds all over the place. At the start of Ollie's reign, he put together an unprecedented, Google that if you don't know what the fuck that means, unprecedented run, a record-breaking run with a team. Half of the players that was involved in that are no longer Manchester United players, unfortunately. And Ander Herrera was a big part in that, and he wasn't able to replace Ander Herrera. And you've seen the difference that's made by the fact that we've had to rely on Fred. And although Scott McTominay, I have criticised at times and given plaudits to at times this season, McTominay's having a very good season. But he is a player that thrives, much like this team, off the ball. On the ball, there's a lot left to be desired. And when a team just gives us the ball, he's one that looks a little bit like a fish out of water. United need way more quality in our team if we're going to be able to compete. The fine line between Manchester United pulling a result out and not winning a game is causing people to absolutely lose their minds. And the arguments that's happening online, there's no need for it. Support the team, lads. It's not going to get better by you telling them that they're shit. If you're going to criticise, find a constructive way to say, listen, lads, you've got to do that better. Marcus Rashford, you probably should be more clinical, because you'd be accurate. But to say, he's shit, he's a conference level player, just makes your argument sound invalid. I've criticised Andreas Pereira in this very video, but I hope I've criticised him by pointing out some of the things that he's not doing well and that others could be doing better for us. I don't think Andreas Pereira is a shit footballer. I think his decision-making is pretty shit, but overall he's a very good footballer. But right now Manchester United needs someone that's going to make better decisions because the margins are so fine for us. We are a team that has been absolutely asset stripped. We've had the very good experienced players that we could rely on to get us out of the shit, including Fellaini, for those of us who probably don't really want to admit that, are no longer here. We have got one way of playing football, and if that doesn't work, it goes to shit. Is that down to the manager? Probably is, to a certain extent. I think that there's some part of that Ollie needed to have some sort of tactical flexibility. But I'll put it to you. Look at the squad that we've got. I asked people on Twitter, if you could change one player in this team that's going to make a dramatic difference, who would it be? Mbappe was who people come up with. Fucking sweet. Mbappe plays for Paris Saint-Germain. It's not like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sat him on the bench and gone, not yet, mate. I'll bring you on when the time's right. Who have Manchester United got in this team, aside from Paul Pogba, who is injured or not injured, depending on what you think? But he's not available. Who has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got that you can go, just fucking play him and it'll all be better? Exactly. This squad is the worst squad in 30 years. So expect the worst results that you have seen in 30 years. Do I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should be getting more out of this team? Marginally, yes. Do I think Pochettino should be getting more out of his team? Fucking absolutely. That is a team that has comfortably got the rights to call themselves the third best footballing team in the country. They're fucking below us. So what does that tell you? Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you guys are new around here. And we have absolutely smashed it over the weekend with Patreons. We are now this close to the target. If we have another weekend, or even a week, like we just had in the last couple of days, then we are going to smash our target for that live Manchester podcast. And only the guys on Patreon will be finding that out. It's also coming up to a transfer window. And if you want the inside scoop on what's going to be happening with Manchester United transfers, the Patreon group get it first. In I think it was May and March last year was the Maguire and the Wan-Bissaka news, which got broken before any other outlet had it. Hit the link in the description if you want to be first to know that sort of stuff. And there's all sorts of shit on there as well. Five-a-sides, meetups, there's all sorts of extras that are coming your way. So go and check it out and make your own mind up. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.